matter of this nature, I've got these judges in mind, and their input are also valuable. But at the end of the day, as a leader, you really need to know your judges, their strengths, and those who still would need more time to do judgments, you ensure that they're given more time to write judgments in respect of those matters. But knowing your judges, it's the best way that can assist you in allocation. And also just to make it very clear to the judges that if a matter is allocated to you, there's no way that you'd give it to another judge without consulting with the leadership.
Don't you have a problem where senior judges will allocate all the work to junior judges and they've got nothing to do themselves? And if that is a problem, how do you deal with it?
JP, we have experienced that problem. We've discussed it at our meeting. Now, what I'm doing, especially with opposed motions, because you find that we'll be having about 50 opposed motions to be dealt with by 10 judges. In the urgent court, now we have introduced a system where we've got, we are putting 3 judges. So the week before those judges, those matters are heard, the judges would send a report to me indicating which matter has been given to other judges, the duration of those matters. That helps to manage the process very well, because there were complaints by some junior judges that, especially with opposed motions, some of the senior judges would deal with matters wherein they know that there would be settlements, and you find that in that week on a Tuesday, that senior judge is done with his or her matters. And the other thing that we have introduced in Gauteng is that the senior judge should always engage with the other 4 judges to check if they cannot assist each other, because in certain matters they don't settle, and you find that another judge has got more work, so that if another judge's matters have been settled, he or she can assist other colleagues. So that is done on weekly basis so that I can be sure that the allocations are fair, allocations from the senior judges.
And then your ability to take decisions. Are you a populist, or are you the kind of leader that will take decisions and ensure that they are implemented, and there's consequence management if that thing is being done?
As a leader, one must just take those decisions. And if maybe one of your colleagues think that the decision that you've taken, you give that colleague an opportunity. And in most instances, as the DCJ used to do, would call the DJP to discuss those matters with him. We had a matter wherein a junior judge did not want to write a judgment of a full court. And we called all the judges, and the solution, we told all of them that each judge should write his or her judgment. And amazingly, after about a week, after each judge wrote the judgment, and they all agreed and the judgment was delivered. So there are certain decisions that as a leader, one needs to implement.
There's a growing trend now in the judiciary for...
It is 3 questions, JP. I don't like pulling up my dear colleagues.
No, thank you.
Even if they're asking relevant questions,
Thank
but
you,
due
I'll
to
end
time
there,
issues,
no, thank you.
ask you. Thank you, JP. Commissioner Matolo Dlebo.
Thank you, CJ, and good morning, Acting Judge President.
Good morning, Commissioner.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you. In your vision, you mentioned that you're going to be elevating women judges
Yes.
in your division. I really applaud you for that. But one of the things that I want you to think about is the question of the criteria for appointing acting judges. Because from the constituency that I come from, women organization, they just feel it's so unclear how acting judges are being appointed. I know that there was a policy criteria that was circulated, but it hasn't been finalized. I think for us, it will really, really make a difference to know that for a person to want to be an acting judge, this is the criteria. That's one thing, so that you avoid people who you think you don't qualify to be acting judges. So if there is a criteria, definitely it will help from yourselves. As the JPs, I know that there are a lot of JPs in there, even JP talents. So the criteria for us as the practitioners, especially women practitioners, is very important. It needs to come out and to be discussed. Thank you. I know that the profession has given its input, but so far nothing has come out. The second one for me, that was my comment only. The second one, I know that we to deal with the workload, we've introduced mediation. What I just wanted to know, because is there any statistics that shows how successful this mediation is, and how do practitioners really follow it, do it, or do they do it for the sake of doing it? Because my problem is that aren't we extending or making sure delaying the finalization of matters? I just want to hear your view from there. That's my only two questions.
Thank you, Commissioner. On the issue of appointing acting judges, I mentioned that I sit with top senior judges from each division to get their inputs and also for them to make recommendations, because these are the judges in most instances who are in court, and they can see how the practitioners are faring in court. And the other advantage is that acting judges who have been appointed, they've got the benefit of sitting with them in full courts, discussing other matters with them. So it's really a valuable tool that we are using, because I can also indicate that I get a lot of applications by practitioners who says that I should appoint them as acting judge. And it has not been, this is not the practice of how the judiciary works. You don't apply to be appointed. You've got to be recommended by your colleagues. And I also contact the professional bodies to make recommendations, and that is also helping a lot. On the issue of the stats, we do get a report, I think it's every 2 months, maybe Judge Davis can just confirm this or not, which indicate how many matters have gone for mediation. But I need to mention that the big problem with this mediation thing is that there is a party that does not cooperate. To an extent that the directive states that if another party does not want to cooperate, you must go to court and get an order that the matter should proceed without mediation being held, or the parties to be exempted from that. And it's really disturbing to say that at the moment, the role of the SIC has increased. we've got about 16,000 applications to the SIC that we need to deal with. And we had a discussion about how do we resolve this. But if the RAF can cooperate, this would not be a problem. But because there's no cooperation, then the role of Special Interlocutory Court has increased. It is something that we are dealing with, and we've made a commitment that we want to ensure that by the end of this year, with the extra judges that we've got, we need to resolve this issue. And this issue, again, because now if these matters are from the SIC, they increase the number of default judgments, but we are on it. During recess, there are judges who are sitting there doing the work on pro bono basis. We don't have enough courtrooms. The judges that are dealing with the SIC and the default judgments, they deal with these matters virtually. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to appeal that I do understand how you appoint acting judges, but I think if it's written somewhere, it will be better for people to understand, because what you practice in Gauteng is not the same like anywhere, maybe in Northwest or, I think it will be a good thing for us, everybody, to understand that senior judges sit and recommend, but if nobody knows that, it becomes a problem. Thank you.
Yes, I take your point, and as also, as I said, the recommendations from the professional bodies like NADEL, JSC, Johannesburg Society of Advocates, and also Pretoria Advocates. We've also written letters to organizations like PABASA that they should recommend people and also ensure that the people that they are recommending, there are no pending cases or inquiries against them. Because recently there is an acting judge that I had to ask the minister to revoke it because that acting judge had a pending matter in the Johannesburg court. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Janimhang.
Thank you, Sujay. Still morning. Good morning, AJP.
Good morning, Commissioner.
My first question, is there value in strengthening the bridge between the judiciary and the academy? If so, what principles should guide such engagement?
Commissioner, there is real value in interacting with the academics. And from what the DCJ introduced, when in each term, I make sure that I get one of the academics to come and act in the division, because academics play a very important role. There are certain things that we learn from them, and this practice of always ensuring that they are part of the acting judges is something that I intend continuing with.
Thank you, AJP. And then my next question is, what is your leadership philosophy, including your leadership style? And in answering that question, what characteristics do you have to make you suitable to be the JP of the Gauteng province?
My leadership style is to have an open door policy and to encourage the colleagues that they can contact me anytime, even if it's during the weekend, so that we can deal with the issues that are there. And it's important that even if maybe one gets a complaint from members of the public, that you invite your judge to discuss with them, because it's very important that you should have all the versions of the other parties. But leading on the philosophy of having an open door policy, I think that is what works. And on the second question that you raised, if you don't mind, Commissioner, can you please just raise it again so that I can answer properly?
Certainly. What characteristics do you have to make you suitable to be the JP at Gauteng?
Well, it's a difficult question, but I think the fact that my colleagues cooperate with me, they raise issues with me, it's an indication that I'm always willing to listen to them and understand the challenges that they are facing.
Thank you. Thank you.
CJ, may I bring in a follow-up, please? Good morning, Acting Judge President.
Good morning,
As you
Commissioner.
would have read in the GCB's review, they also inquire about how you intend to lead the division and whether in particular you would sit in high-profile cases and give jurisprudential leadership. What would you say to their query?
Excuse me, what would I say to the?
Would you sit in the high-profile cases that came into your division? Would you consider it as part of your leadership to give jurisprudential leadership?
Definitely, yes. There are those cases that would need a leader of the division to be part thereof. And it has always been a practice in the high courts that the cases involving especially the leaders of the country needs to be dealt with by the leader. And as you would have been aware, is that in such high-profile matter, almost in all of them would set a bench of 3 judges to sit in those matters. So it's very important that as a leader of the court, one should sit in such matters. Especially there are other matters that would also involve judges to ensure that you get judges from other divisions. But as a leader of the court, you need to be seen to be engaging in other matters.
So may I presume then that you would allocate cases for yourself to hear that actually had important matters of principle or were high-profile cases involved, so that your resources were devoted to matters of some importance?
Yes, I'll definitely allocate those matters to myself.
In relation to the bail application that has landed you in some trouble, Mr. Malefi's application, was there any particular special circumstance that would have motivated such a senior person as you to personally deal with that matter? And I raise it because I would imagine, for example, that you wouldn't sit in run-of-the-mill cases that ordinarily come to the court in great volumes, divorce cases, RAF cases, bail applications, even on appeal, unless there was some special circumstance that caused you to hear that.
What made me to hear the matter, it was not because of the matter involved, Mr. Malefi. It was during recess. And there were bail applications that were to be heard, and it was a long recess. Now, to wait for the next term to start and to allocate matters, I was of the view that those matters involve the freedom of the people. And as I've said, I've dealt with 2 matters in that period. And mainly because they are urgent and it involved freedom of the other people and there were no judges available to do it. If there were judges, I would have definitely allocated those matters. In most instances, I do allocate these matters to judges who are mostly doing criminal work. And those judges were also involved in other apartheid matters. And as I've said, as a leader, I also need to be seen to be involved in other matters, not only high-profile matters. It helps as a head of the court to go to what could be regarded as maybe to do the unopposed. It's important to go there. You are in a position to can evaluate the workload, how many matters need to be allocated to judges. Because there are certain instances where other judges would say 20 matters on the unopposed would be enough, and there are other judges who would say, give us 50 matters. But if one has practically dealt with those matters, you've got a good sense of what is happening in that court, and you can make a decision as to how many matters should be allocated to each judge.
Thank you. I accept your answer. Thank you, Chief Justice.
Commissioner Mangen?
I wanted to make a follow-up.
To Commissioner King's,
Yes.
Okay.
All
all right, and the professor?
Yes, the prof. Acting JP, the question was, if you were to assume that responsibility, what do you bring with you? Because it's a position of responsibility. And the answer that says, well, I'm a DJP, an acting JP and chairperson of magistracy. I played that leadership role before, and therefore I come with that kind of experience to this particular responsibility. Will that not be sufficient?
I think that's sufficient.
And then, is there any rule that says, as a JP or acting JP, there are certain matters you can't hear, including bail?
There's no such a rule.
Thank you.
Commissioner. Thank you.
Your turn.
Thank you. Good morning, AJP.
Good morning, Commissioner Mangena.
I would love to converse with you just on this aspect, but looking at the optics of the matter. Not so much about what actually happened. Earlier on, you were asked by Commissioner Ngwedobi if you accept that the allegations made at the Madlanga Commission were serious. And I did not hear your answer, whether you accept that they are serious or they are not serious. Now, I need to ask you, do you consider the allegations made there serious?
Commissioner, those unsubstantiated allegations, in my view, they cannot be regarded as being serious. I've also mentioned that there's a criminal case that has been opened at Boschkop. But when you look at what is said, it's just an allegation that these judges received money. Nothing substantiating it. And because there's no substantiation, I take them not to be serious.
But then why did you want to respond to them? If they were not serious, why did you want to respond to them at the Madanga Commission?
I wanted to respond to them because my name was mentioned. And I also indicated in the letter that we wrote to the commission that if these allegations are serious, the matter should be reported to the relevant body.
The Office of the Chief Justice issued a media statement acknowledging that the testimony or the allegations are unsubstantiated, but they've got the potential to damage the integrity of the judiciary. Do you accept that?
Yes, I do accept they've got that potential, but in deciding how to deal with those allegations, one also needs to look at the integrity of the judiciary, and hence I've said these are difficult things that are there. I made it a point that I consult with senior judges and other retired judges to get their view on it.
Yes, and that's an issue for me. The Office of Chief Justice suggests to you that you consider taking special leave. You don't, you decline, and then you go and solicit advice from retired judges. Between the Chief Justice and the retired judges, who is the custodian of the integrity of the judiciary?
So obviously, it's the Chief Justice who's the head of the judiciary.
And then why did you choose to ignore the suggestion and advice coming from her? She was not saying that you are guilty.
Yes.
She was not saying that you took the money. She was only saying that it will be in the best interest of the judiciary if you take this course of action.
I think the candidate has answered this question, Commissioner Mangena. In one context or the other, he has given his answer, and I would ask you to leave it.
Well, I'll accept your guidance.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I'm done, Chief Justice.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Mangena. Perhaps I should follow up, Deputy Judge President. No, I've not forgotten you. This issue was raised by the Objections Committee at the outset. Commissioner Trolley raised it with you, and now Commissioner Mangena. And I'm raising it again because it's going to be a big issue at deliberations later, I can assure you of that. And I want to give you a chance to give you your very best answer. You have been a DJP of that big division since 2013. It's been 13 years now. When former Judge President Mlambo became Deputy Chief Justice, you seamlessly stepped into the role of acting Judge President to hold the fort until a permanent appointment is made. And all indications are that you're steering the ship, excellently, if I may say so. There's no sign at all that the division is in distress. Its affairs are in limbo because there is no permanent JP yet. Now, importantly, there is no other contender in sight for this position. You seem to be the solo horse. Now, in the face of this background, especially the objections raised by bodies such as the the Helen Suzman Foundation and others, And all the chatter that is taking place in the public spaces about this issue and what has been happening within the judiciary in recent times, the shocking allegations and everything else, imputing, negativity on the integrity of the judiciary. A lot of people are asking, and it will be asked at deliberations, as I said, why we cannot wait until the Madlanga Commission has cleared you, or at least the matter has been put to rest, has been brought to finality. Or we don't know that there is an interim report which has not been made public. Maybe the president will make it public one of these days, and we may get to know what findings were made by that body. Your candidature, I think this is the elephant in the room. Your candidature is shrouded in this dark cloud, which you don't deserve. I mean, you're a good leader. I've worked with you for a long time. I've served as a judge with you. So your appointment should not be shrouded in negative chit chat. And the judiciary, it may be said, does not deserve that. Why should we not wait while you act in the position? And that is the question that will be asked at deliberations, I can assure you. What would you say for yourself?
Chief Justice, my answer to it is that the Gauteng Division needs to have a leader, not necessarily myself. And it will be in the interest of the judiciary that there should be certainty about who is to lead this division. Personally, I'm not saying it should be done now, but considering all the other factors that this cloud that is hanging was conveyed to the Commission, and the Commission, in their letter that I've got here, they said they will ensure that there's no prejudice. They'll deal with it before today. There has been other clouds, as I've mentioned, that were made. And to say that all these allegations need to be cleared first, the criminal case that has been laid and the summons that I've mentioned that they are suing me for 50 million, I don't think that is in the interest of justice. So that's my answer to the question that you raised.
Thank you, DJ.
Thank you, Chief Justice.
Commissioner Luhanyan?
Thank you so much, Chief Justice. I thought your question will be the last. Is it still morning? Good morning, Matawel.
Good morning, Scholar Sarale. We left you some few minutes before it's 12.
Leaving a follow. The latest information or rumors that I heard is that Gauteng may be the largest or among the largest provincial divisions in the country. Is that correct?
That's correct, Commissioner.
And one of my fellow commissioners here has asked you about one of the legacy projects that were left by your predecessor, Justice Mlambo.